want to continue on this theme of Israel and Palestine for a second day. I just finished the documentary I was watching on the settlements in the West Bank. Now, I'm sure that the documentary is made with a political slant, which, it's meant to show the settlers as religious fundamentalists, which I'm sure some, if not a lot of them, are. And it does a good job of that. It also shows, and it sounds like the vast majority, which I think there's somewhere between 500,000 and 750,000 Jewish Israeli settlers in the West Bank versus like 3 million Palestinians. So basically a tenth of Israel's population lives in the West Bank, which is not Israeli territory, except for the fact that it's become Israeli territory by default, with the permission of and the enforcement and support of the Israeli government and of the world by basically turning a blind eye. But it sounds like the vast majority of the settlers are not religious fundamentalists. They're basically just people who want more space, and essentially view the settlements as Israeli territory, or they just don't care, and they don't think about it as a human rights issue. They just think about it as a convenience issue. But even the word settlement is a misnomer. Like, the name settlement connotes like some kind of primitive hut, grouping of like houses built by hand, with sticks and mud, right? Like something very basic. These are like, high tech. These are subdivisions. These are neighborhoods with like YMCA's. I mean, this is a town, like a Western style modern town. These are not settlements. These are, this is a city. It's a mini city. It's like it's a suburb, is what it is. And so even the word settlement doesn't really do it justice. But you listen to the fundamentalist side of it, and they don't care about the laws of man. They don't care about government law. All they care about is, quote unquote, the law of God. And according to them, per their interpretation, God has given them the right to settle wherever they want. And they're happy to take up all of Palestine and even keep going, into Jordan. I was listening to these people, and they may as well have been Islamic fundamentalists. Like there's really no difference. A fundamentalist is a fundamentalist. So it's kind of terrifying to listen to these people, because there's no reasoning with them. They don't care what anybody else thinks. They're not listeners. So that was kind of jarring. And as for the other people who aren't fundamentalists, but are just moving there because they can, it's just it's ignorant, and it's kind of disgusting. At the same time, I can't help think that we here in the United States essentially did the same thing. I mean, granted, it was longer ago, but we settled this country, and we killed a bunch of people, and we kicked a bunch of people off their land, and we took it as our own. So it's kind of hypocritical of me to criticize those settlers, but nonetheless, it is what it is. It's illegal. It's against international law. It's against international boundaries, and nobody's enforcing them. And that's the tragedy, that the whole world is standing by and letting this happen. And now you've got 750,000 Israelis living on Palestinian land. Like, you're not going to move those people, right? There was a removal of settlers from Gaza in 2006. That was 7,500 people. That was nothing. That was incredibly insignificant. I mean, it was significant to those people, and they, put up a huge resistance. And you would have thought it was the greatest tragedy on earth, which, to them it was. They were losing their homes. But those homes were also built illegally on land that, was not theirs and should not have been theirs. But, that was 7,500 people. You're talking about 750,000 people in the West Bank. Like, you're not going to move those people. I don't see a resolution, 2-state, 1-state. I don't know what you want to call it. How do you resolve this? It's crazy.